And we are live. Welcome everybody to another Discover Real Estate experience. I am so excited about today's guests. I have a little bit of, how do you say this, celebrity trepidation around interviewing one of the greats in our industry, who also is an Oregon resident in Sisters, Oregon. And they are the most recent addition to the Discover Real Estate team. You guys will see in the description, Hilary Saunders is a real estate rebel with a cause. And we get to have a unique and intimate look into the origin story, whatever she's going to share with us today. It is a huge honor to have her here with us, tuning in live from Sisters, Oregon. Please welcome Hilary Saunders.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm going to zoom in like this. Look at
this. Hello.
So, Hilary.
Botox is working.
How are you? Like in your description, it talks about how 20 years ago you started in this industry, and now you're basically co-founding one of the largest real estate companies in this country. You do not look like you've been in the business for 20 years.
Oh, Tim, yeah. I'm gonna age myself right now. I've been in it for a long time. But it is really fun. I love this space. Real estate is my passion. And everybody has a fundamental right to have, shelter and a home to do whatever they want, raise a family if they wish or not, and live in such cool places that exist. And I am fortunate and extremely grateful that I get to call Sisters my home. And it's my hometown I grew up in and I moved back to, and now I get to make a mark on the community and be a part of door to do it. So cheers.
Well, Hilary, we are so honored to have you, one, on a live stream today, but also a part of our team. I think it's really impressive. I'm just going to talk you up a little bit because I think that for people to understand the power of what's happening right now, one, within the industry, but then within the select few leaders that we see within the industry actually moving to boots on the ground involvement alongside of fellow agents. I think it's the mark of true great leadership, that when the going gets tough, rather than retreating to the castle, right, you could totally disengage and stay on Zooms and stay out of the actual fray of the change that's happening in the real estate industry. But instead, I see you real time leaning in. And I just want to thank you for being an inspiration to me and to the rest of the side community. And quite frankly, to the other co-founding powerhouses in our industry that have launched or still involved in great companies. I love to see your commitment to elevate the industry. And so I was hoping you could take us on a trip down memory lane before all this started, back to Sisters, Oregon, where you grew up. So you lived there. And I'm not gonna force you to age yourself, so you don't have to say what year you graduated high school, but take us back.
I will say, for locals who walk through the high school, they can see I still have a couple swimming records up there, and they can do the math. So I'll leave it at that.
So swimming records, you had swimming records. What else was it like going to high school with Hilary Saunders?
What's funny is like Sisters is a gem place to grow up, and hence why I moved back, because the community in Sisters is so unique, and it is very small and very dedicated to students and their experience and giving them the best opportunities that can be afforded. Growing up in Sisters is you can do anything, and that includes being outside. I am an outdoor advocate. I grew up skiing and swimming and biking, and my kids are 4.5. My twins are 4.5. My son is 11 almost. And we went mountain biking the other day, and to be able to do that with, 4.5-year-olds is a gem. So they're on skis too. So, you saw them. We went skiing together.
Yeah, totally. I mean, not only am I inspired by how you lead a company, I'm inspired by how you lead a family and how you're able to balance all this out. I feel like you are the most family oriented and seemingly family active, outdoorsy co-founding powerhouse in the industry that at least that I follow on social media. And your kids probably can ski better than me at this point. So goals. Like,
We'll test that out.
yeah.
Come snowfall, we'll test that out. But, honestly, people ask me work-life balance, how I
Yeah.
do it, whatever. And the honest answer is if you find what you love to do, what you're passionate about, it's not work. We, I did we started Side in 2016 and 8 years later it's gotten to the point now where I do get to give back to the community. I get to work with buyers and sellers because my true passion is elevating the real estate industry, and especially in a time now where we're facing a big shift. In my opinion, it's a great shift, and being more transparent and letting buyers and sellers really have a negotiating discussion with their agents to understand what is it that agent's going to do for you, and see the vast difference between the discount brokerages who do nothing for their clients, but just take a couple photos, slap it on the MLS and call it a day, or do less than that and not give advice. I started in real estate litigation, and so I have a very unique aspect of looking at things through a legal lens. And I also, from an estate planning and probate perspective, think planning. So I love working with first-time home buyers and understanding, hey, guess what? Now I can explain to you that you should get a trust because of X, Y, or Z to protect your family down the road. Or on the flip side, as people are getting older and they need to downsize, really making sure that they're taking care of their next generation so they don't have to end up in probate or some kind of family squabble dispute. So my unique perspective is something that I bring to my clients, and I also get to share with not just our Side community and partners across the nation, but the industry at large. So I'm clearly passionate about it, and that the family comes in with me. Like kids go on showing appointments. They get paid if they help stage a house.
Yeah.
When that house closes, they get money in their bank accounts.
Well, I'm all about that. Maisie's been leading the charge on our most recent round of tours. Well, she's also been selling flowers. Actually, she's doing it right now in the lobby of our office, selling flowers. It started as just an idea of like, hey, let's sell. I'll buy some flowers from you, Maise, and give it to our clients when they close. And she's just taken it and run with it. So I love your heart for our industry, for the coming generation. And also I just wanted to give a plug for those that didn't see that. I'm putting it in the comments now. For those that don't know, this is actually a sequel, what I hope to be a sequel for the podcast that you started with Side, called Own It. And there's so many incredible interviews you have with amazing professionals all across the country. It's quite a powerful community that we're a part of at Side. And I want to go back to the origin story. So you're in Sisters. Somehow you end up going from Sisters to the Bay Area.
Yeah, by way of San Diego. So I went down to university in San Diego. Love Southern California. It's great. And then ended up in law school in San Francisco and fell in love with real estate and tax, real sexy stuff right there.
Nice.
And I had the experience of working for a big box brokerage as a broker and got disenfranchised very quickly in understanding that they really didn't do much to support the agents in the way of managing broker support and marketing, and everything had to be in their box because we were promoting and building out their brand, not my brand. Like my clients were not hiring that company. They were hiring me because I had expertise and I had experience and I had the degrees, not the company. So I left and started my own boutique brokerage in San Francisco, along with an estate planning law firm. So I got to do what I was passionate about on both sides.
Yeah.
And through that experience, I met my two co-founders, Guy and Ed, who were at their point in their lives of trying to figure out, can we utilize technology to disrupt the real estate space? And I was on their radar to understand why and how I had left the big box and opened my own boutique firm, because that is not a common thing to do.
Yeah.
It is more common to have a family legacy company that's been around for generations, but not necessarily a top producer leaving a big box and doing it on their own. So that was kind of the impetus for grabbing a meeting with them. And we had a scheduled, 15-minute coffee. Can we ask you some questions? Which turned into 3 hours of, oh my gosh, we're all very similar.
So it was a company born out of a relationship, really, in that regard, because it was like, you weren't the only boutique brokerage in the Bay Area at that time, were you? I mean, there
was a handful of people who had gone on their own. Guy and Ed were doing a really good research at the time, trying to understand really the space and what was missing. And where we really synergized was not just our sameness in age and kind of entrepreneurship spirit, but also the real desire to push an industry that is very arcane and not transparent and not working for the agent into a company that actually works for the agent to be the local boutique expert in their community. That's the kicker. Is we believe the future is boutique local and being an expert in your area.
And you're definitely a shoo-in for the Discover Real Estate team, because at Door, I've noticed that the agents that we attract are typically multifaceted. They've got the background. Like for me, my background was in construction and construction management. Cielo, Jacob, they both come from more of a blue collar, like actually working on projects. And you come from this very mechanical service through the actual legal field that you're able to combine with your real estate license that gives you that really unique edge in servicing your clients. And so that's just an epic bonus for us. But also you come with this empire building talent of taking what was just a startup idea in the Bay Area to now what is Side today. I mean, just for those that don't know, Side's what powers our real estate company, along with now thousands of other brands.
We have over 600 different boutique brands. Yeah. But it's not ours. We're partnering with them. Right? We're partnering with you to really help you and Door achieve your goals, whatever they may be. If it's world domination, or if it's, I just want to retire on an island somewhere and my team kind of works it. Whatever that dream is, that is our goal.
So it's 600 in the 600 brands. I don't know. For me, I guess it's thousands of agents, but it's 600, independent. It's 600 companies. Right. 600 plus pioneers, right? Who we all have now this like shared, I almost feel like it's the Marines of real estate, for lack of a better term, where it's like there's this rite of passage where we've all gone through the grind of like being clear on what is our mission, what is our values, what is the company that we're actually going to own, what's the heart and soul of it, what is our value proposition going to truly be individually to consumers and to our agents, and then what is our fingerprint going to be, like what's our community impact going to be. And when I get in the room with other side partners, I realize there's this like shared path that we've all had. Thanks to you and Guy and Ed for being the OG pioneers for this particular approach to the business. But I'm curious on just going back to like the growth model from when you guys started this. What was the year that first meeting happened back in, was it 2017?
2016. Yeah.
2016. Okay. So 2016 you met, and then to like actually executing on it for our fellow empire builders that want to understand the back end of this, like 2016, you have this conversation around this disruptive idea.
Right. So at that point, there was two facets. One was utilizing technology to streamline a transaction. The transaction process at that point in time in California was basically 15 hours ish, front to end, start to finish, right? And it was a lot of paper pushing, a lot of different programs that didn't talk to each other. So that's about on average. And we were talking and say, how do we utilize technology to shrink it to maybe an hour? right? If I gave you 14 hours back, what would you do? You would go do money making activity. You would go meet with your new clients. You would build stuff. When we talk to producers like Michelle Kim, for example, who's the founder of Mosaic, she said she referred out 50% of her business to other agents because she physically did not have enough time in the day to do it. So
Wow.
if you could capture that rather
Yeah.
than referring it out, you've just made someone's life a whole nother level, right?
Yeah.
So so that was one piece of it, utilizing technology to better the space. And then the other piece, which I talked to before, which is ownership, really having an entity at the end of the day that you can value, you can sell, you can merge, you can, it is an asset that you now have on your balance sheet in your estate to hand down to generations, or, do what you want with it. Because what agents don't realize is they're actually renting, working at a big box.
Yeah.
They don't own jack crap.
Yeah.
They don't even own their Rolodex.
Yeah.
Do you know that most ICAs and most companies, the company owns their data?
Yeah.
So all your client database that you put into that CRM, it's not yours, it's
Yeah.
theirs. So that remains one of the pillars of Side, is that this is your business.
Yeah.
We're here to facilitate it and help you and get to whatever level you're trying to get to. So from that perspective, we had a prototype, we built it out. The technology was very basic, but we ran, and people started understanding and seeing year over year growth from 15 million a year to 45 to 75 to $1 billion in sales for Mosaic or Momentum this week.
Wow.
It's crazy. So yeah, it's a journey. It's not over.
Yeah. So what do you think Side will end the year in terms of business, deals, volume, and units of deals that they'll end up brokering, supporting brokering?
I have no idea. And it's, what's really fascinating is having experienced, I was in real estate sales in 2008 in the crash.
Yeah.
Hindsight, it's 2020. I wish I'd bought property. I would have sold a kidney to buy property at that point. It would have quadrupled.
Yeah.
But we saw COVID. We thought everything was going to fall down. Everything was going to crash. But those years were actually boom years. And so agents who didn't have the previous history of a downturn or a dip, they only knew boom. And so this past year, when interest rates have been high and people have been on the fence and they don't want to get off their low mortgages, that's been a quote unquote down year. So most people across the industry have had a bad year, which is, even if we stayed steady state, we would be up 20% compared to everybody else. So yeah, that's not an exact answer, but I will say our community is top notch, and they are killing it.
Well, I know we're looking at about 25% growth year over year, despite a decline in transactions, and huge in large part to, I think people underestimate, like what you said, Hilary, that not just the value of collaboration from a system standpoint, like having a large company that has the buying power that Side has to support our team, but also I think one of the unspoken values that's harder to put on an IPO is, what is the value of synergistic energy, right? Like, what is the value of when you get a bunch of business owner minded people in collaboration with each other, truly, where they own their own thing, but they want, I've got some of the coolest relationships from inside this network. And so I'm just so honored and proud to be at this level of collaboration with you. And I wanted to also just say, from a personal standpoint, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is like a cautionary tale. I hate to say it for other agents. I had an identical experience to what you talked about, where I had this realization while working at a big box company, and I won't name names, but people could probably put two and two together. I mean, I was there for 7 years and owed a lot to them because they invest a lot of coaching and training. But when the time came where I articulated some concerns about the models and the brokerage itself, and basically said, hey, I think I'm thinking about moving on to a different model. When that door closed, I thought there would be this peaceable, okay, hey, we had a good run at it. You guys made your money off my splits. We had what I thought was a win-win relationship. It's going to transition. When that transition occurred, it was so unceremonious. that I had a branded email to a company that held like a Google Drive that they owned,
Yep.
all the database, all the systems and processes. And what I thought was going to be a 30-day transition turned into like a 24-hour lights off, email
Right.
deleted, Google
Yep.
Drive ceased to exist. I lost, 600 client contacts with all
Yeah.
the notes of deals and database. And so it is a cautionary tale for those that are wanting to build businesses under big box brands as to what is the consequence of renting a business versus
Yep.
owning. And so hopefully as we, expand the door network, we have Discover Oregon, now we're Discover Washington, and we're building out these sub brands like Discover Sisters Oregon. Maybe now would be a good time to talk about the next thing that you're building with, inside of the network that you own, namely your app. Can you tell us more about this app?
Yes. Yeah. So again, like what gets me excited in life is I'm catapulted back to where I started in real estate, and I love building something and helping people. And when we moved back home, Sisters, again, about 5,000 people ish located near Bend. It's a very tight knit community, and when you drive through, it's a little Western town. Well, a lot of things are still back in, call it the Stone Age.
Yeah.
As far as like community information and lifestyle, like people don't know the new businesses in town, or there's not a central way for tourists to find out everything that's going on in town. Like there's no directory. So I decided, what a great opportunity, considering that y'all have the most beautiful logo, which is the Three Sisters. And you and I think very outside of the box and push the envelope. So I've created an app. It's called Everything Sisters Oregon. It is in the Google store, the iPhone store. So it doesn't matter what phone you use. But it is continuously being built out. So it's not perfect. It's always growing, always doing better. But it has two facets. One is to be very transparent and show all the houses on the market. So anyone who's looking to buy or sell, they can go in and see what's live. And the interface is a lot better than most other platforms. And also, hey, we don't sell your data like the other big names. Because again, privacy is important to me. And then the other side is a lifestyle app, which is a directory of sorts where vendors can post their businesses. They can post specials. We'll have a link to the school calendars so you can know when, the football games are. There's a link to the events in town. So, when, the quilt show and the rodeo and folk festival, all those kind of good things are. And then we're working with, this is a new one, haven't even told you yet. We're working with C4C, which is a community organization, to build out volunteer opportunities and community access. So if you are, you need mental health services, like there will be a link directly there so you can go find those things. It is meant to be an all-inclusive, one-stop shop, whether you're a visitor or a local. It's here to support you. And obviously I get to bring my unique spin and elevating the real estate experience to buyers and sellers locally. So
I love that, Hilary.
I love it.
That's so fantastic. So I just put the comments or the link to download the app in the comments, so you guys can test that out. Again, like most things, we're just copying you, Hilary. You're our fearless leader, right? I find myself just really humbled by this relationship, just so you know, because I really look up to you a lot. And like to the point where you told me you're developing this app and I immediately just went and signed a contract with Homestack. I'm like, okay, well, we obviously have to do this everywhere. So if you guys want to get a sneak peek at what's coming in for the greater Discover real estate community that we're building, Hilary's app is in the comments to download. And if you're going through Sisters, which, gosh, obviously I love it too. That's why I put the Three Sisters in our logo. Faith, hope, and charity just happen to be three values that are important to me in the name of the Three Sisters, that in my mind are synergistic with our 10 C's. And, hopefully if we can muster you and Steven to do it, we ought to do a follow-up live in the next year from the top of one of these. I think that would be worth doing.
Hey, I love the outdoors. That's an early wake up that you need to do to get up there. But yeah, we'll work on it. We'll work on it.
All right. Well, I'm planting the seed. I'm going to manifest this idea. So whether it's just us up on the top of the Three Sisters, screening you in from, down at the
You know
bottom.
what I think, it'd be really fun is we took the girls up Black Butte the other day, and they made it halfway, and then they had to be carried the other half, which is fine. Yeah. But we made it to the top, and it would have been, you could do mountain to mountain. Like we could.
That is a great idea. Okay, brilliant. So we'll put a feather in that. That's obviously like a May, June, or maybe September.
Now is great.
Maybe next month.
Cooled off.
Maybe. So the Orla convention, a few announcements for those thinking of what's happening in Central Oregon. The Oregon Restaurant Lodging Association, which we're hosting a booth for at the end of September, to service, the high-end consulting we're doing for restaurant owners and hotel owners. Could be an interesting time that you guys may want to tune in for a follow-up live from Hilary and Tim, because they'll be out in your neck of the woods. But Hilary, I just wanted to reiterate, one, what an honor it is to be in business with you. How special it is for us to be linking arms with you here at Door, and how excited we are to have your expertise in Central Oregon, to be able to service clients there and sisters, but also provide high-level real estate consulting on any project, because you come with a real estate attorney background, estate planning background, and obviously the business. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to you for all of our clients that are looking at a need for these kinds of services. Hilary's ready to rock. And we've got time in our calendar, right? For September, we're booking complimentary consultations. And so feel free to send a message direct to Hilary. I think I tagged you on something in there, and or just message us through the Discover Real Estate channels, and we'll get you plugged into Hilary's calendar for any of you guys' Central Oregon needs. Hilary, thank you so much for your time. I know it's super valuable. We joke you're worth like $1,000 an hour. So I guess we've taken like 500 of that for our viewers today. And we'll look forward to a future live, maybe from the top of a mountaintop.
You got it. I love this. Tim, good job.
All right. See you soon. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, I'm your host, Tim Rist, here with Door to help you find your people and find your place. And what that means to us, just to reiterate, our mission is simple at Discover Real Estate. We want to help facilitate the discovery of community, legacy, and adventure through real estate. And we want to do that everywhere. Community means that we're going to connect you with those service providers, vendors, or even what you heard from Hilary today, those nonprofit organizations and services that can support you and your family's needs wherever you're at. To help you find your place means we want you to love the home you live in. And if you don't, by all means, please call me. Let's set up a consult. Let's figure out how to change where you live so you love it. Legacy means we're here to connect and protect the equity in your guys' investments. So whether it be maximizing your sale price value or making strategic investments for future deals, we want to help you guys build wealth through real estate. And adventure just means we're going to have as much fun as possible in this process. It's not easy to move. It's not necessarily fun to move, but we figure whatever fun there is to be had in that process, we want to help you have it. And worst case scenario, you can at least come to our parties. Thank you to all of our past clients and to all of the vendors that support our business. Until next time, we'll see you guys soon.